What are congressional maps and why do they matter? Who is in the right and the wrong in Texas? Are both sides harming our democracy?
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last! Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
You're not hurting anybody with force, fraud, coercion, theft, or violence. Your life is your life, your body is your body, your business is your business, and your property is your property. It's not mine, and it sure as hell is not the federal government's.
I'm taking a week or two break from the American Interventionism series to do some videos on current events. Today, I want to discuss the current political situation in Texas and the standoff in the state over redistricting. The immediate conflict is a walkout by dozens of Texas House Democrats who have fled the state to deny a legislative quorum. By leaving Texas, they prevent the House from having the minimum number of members, 100 out of 150, required to vote on the new congressional map. The proposed map is intended to solidify the Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives by creating 5 new GOP-leaning seats in Texas. State Democrats accuse the Republicans of racial gerrymandering. Congressional maps are the official maps that divide a state into geographic regions called congressional districts. Each district is represented by one member in the U.S. House of Representatives. The purpose of these maps is to ensure that a state's population is fairly and accurately represented in the federal government. The number of congressional districts a state has is determined by its population, as counted in the census every 10 years. States with larger populations like California and Texas have many districts, while states with small populations like Wyoming and Delaware have only one. Redistricting is the process of redrawing electoral district boundaries. In the United States, this is primarily done for congressional and state legislative districts. It is a mandatory process that normally occurs after the U.S. Census. The census data determines each state's population and how many seats it will have in the House of Representatives. A fundamental requirement of redistricting is that all districts must have a roughly equal population. This principle, established by the Supreme Court, ensures that each person's vote carries equal weight. The term gerrymandering dates back to 1812, when Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry, a Democratic Republican, signed a bill to redraw state Senate districts to benefit his party. The bizarre shape of one of the districts was said to resemble a salamander, giving rise to the term gerrymander. In response to state Democrats walking out, Governor Greg Abbott has called for civil arrest warrants for the absent Democrats. A civil arrest warrant is a court order that allows a law enforcement officer to arrest a person for a non-criminal matter, such as failing to appear in court for a civil case or not complying with a court order. Abbott has also filed an emergency petition with the all-Republican Texas Supreme Court to remove a key Democratic leader from office, arguing the absence constitutes a forfeiture of their seat. While the legality of this petition is questionable, Abbott's legal argument is that the Democrats who fled the state could be guilty of abandonment of office and breach of constitutional duty. While Democrats are accusing the Texas Republicans of gerrymandering, they are less than innocent in this regard. Illinois is a prime example of Democratic gerrymandering. After the 2020 census, with Democrats in full control of the state legislature and the governor's office, they drew a congressional map that was heavily criticized for being a partisan gerrymander. The map was designed to maximize Democratic seats in the 2024 elections. Democrats won 14 of the state's 17 congressional districts, despite the state's political demographics not being so overwhelmingly one-sided. The Princeton Gerrymandering Project, a nonpartisan organization, gave Illinois' congressional district an F for partisan fairness, competitiveness, and geographic features. The convoluted and non-contiguous shape of some districts are clear evidence of packing and cracking to dilute Republican votes. Maryland has long been held up as one of the most gerrymandered states in the nation, with Democrats using their control to draw maps that heavily favored their party. The state's 3rd congressional district was notorious for its strange, sprawling shape that snaked through several counties to link disparate areas with Democratic voters. It was often cited as a textbook example of cracking, where a single party's voters are spread across multiple districts to weaken their influence. The maps have faced numerous legal challenges. In one case, a circuit court struck down a previous map as unconstitutional partisan gerrymandering, forcing lawmakers to redraw it. The new map, while an improvement, still gives Democrats a strong advantage, holding 7 out of the state's 8 congressional seats. While I feel that Texas Republicans are currently guilty of gerrymandering, and I see that the Texas Democrats say they left the state as a form of protest, how much is their protest really worth if their party is just as guilty as the Republican Party? There are plenty of current examples of Democrats being guilty of partisan gerrymandering, and numerous historical examples. To me, this is a prime example of our current system failing its citizens. It essentially turns us into children stuck between fighting parents, and is a prime example of the us versus them politics that we talked about in the Coddling of the American Mind episode. Link in the description. So as usual, the Republicans are trying to gain an advantage and the Democrats are up in arms over it while they do the exact same thing. And we are the ones that end up paying the price. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification bell to stay up to date with what we're doing on the channel.